think for every basketball coach and every basketball team, this is a great time of the year. Everybody's undefeated. And then sometime after 9 o'clock tonight, half the teams in the country that are played will be devastated. Half the fan bases will be devastated, and then go back to work again tomorrow. It is early, but that's not an excuse. It's just a fact. Never really been a fan of starting this early in college basketball, but it is the way of the world. So for the most part, we are healthy, mentally, physically. Yo-Yo's been banged up a little bit. He'll be back at it today for practice. Jalen Llewellyn is day by day doing things, maybe one more drill, one more time he bangs with somebody. He will not be in uniform. Jace Howard, as has been stated and noted, is out 4 to 6 weeks. And Juwan Howard is in the building. Will not be on the sideline, but he will be in the building. I assume. I've not heard. He has not said that directly, but he has, is his nature, watched an awful lot of UNC Asheville video, watched every one of our practice videos. So his hands are involved. More his mind has been involved. And it's good for him. So we're excited about his progress.
Hey, Phil, I guess what can you tell us about UNC Asheville? I mean, I can see they bring a lot of the pieces back from a really good team last year. Yeah, what do you see?
7 of their 9 scorers are back. Top scorers are back. Their 5th starter could be a transfer from VCU or from Georgia Southern. They have a horse, right? And I say that affectionately. This kid, Pember, was the player of the year, was the defensive player of the year, led the country in foul shots taken, led the country in foul shots made, 80 block shots. And I guess we'll see this more and more, to be honest with you, Andrew. He and Olivier were teammates together for a couple of years at Tennessee. So it'll be interesting. He is a quote unquote modern day big in that he spends more time away from the basket than he does in the low post. Fantastic passer. Let me get the number for you. He had 81 assists last year. And I think to that measure on how much they trust him, he had 119 turnovers. But he has a way of getting fouled. He has a way of scoring the ball. He made 57 threes last year, and he's legitimately 6'10". Burgess, the point guard, again, a transfer. Plays in the paint, loves to get to the paint. Fletcher B is a 3-point specialist. I think he made 52, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 52 threes last year. That's second on their team behind Drew Pember, who made 57. They have a really tough physical presence in Nick McMullen. They have an interesting style in that they mix some zone, they mix some pressure. They even mix up the different zones that they play. They have a really, really, really nice team. And to be honest with you, it's a little bit more comforting because we can watch film from last year and say, well, that guy's back and that guy's back. Just fast forwarding, because Youngstown State is my scout. Youngstown State has 9 new guys. There's 2 guys from last year's team and then 9 guys that played college basketball elsewhere last year. So Asheville gives you a little bit of a sense that you can put together a scouting report based on what you've actually seen on the court.
Phil, how important is it for you guys to get George Washington minutes, given the depth at the point guard position and the uncertainty with Jalen at this point?
Well, I think minutes are a big deal for George. I think big minutes are a big deal for Yo-Yo. And when you look around, I like our depth, but our depth comes from versatility. Like Namari Burnett could Namari Burnett play, if you play a numeric game, could he play a 2 and a 3? Yeah. Could he play a 1? Yes, he will have to until George is really up to speed, until Jalen is back. Olivier, could he play the 5? Yeah, he could play the 5. Could he play the 4? Yep, he could play the 4. And will play the 4. Will Cheddar could play the 4. He could play the 5. Terrence Williams could play the 3 or the 4. Trey Jackson could play the 3 or the 4. So that right now, like live bodies, as we did against Northwood, we really had 8 live bodies. Yo-Yo will be a decision based off of practice today. I'm sure he'll be in uniform, but he's missed a couple days. So George is going to get that opportunity. And for this young guy, he wants to please so much. You want him to have some success. You want him to have some failures. Like this, he's as good a shooter as we've had in our competitions, in our scrimmages, in our drills. And then I think he was 3 for 12 the other night. So that would be great. If he got 12 shots tomorrow night, I'll bet on him making 75% of those shots.
Yeah, Phil. Hey, so just curious. Obviously, you guys have had the exhibition, but now it is a new season. Like you start, everybody's got that clean slate. Could you best give us the temperature of the room within the locker room? I mean, there's been a lot going on with Juwan not being there, last year not going maybe the way obviously you guys had hoped, but then new optimism. What's the thing going on right now as you head into?
They are really excited. I thought yesterday the start of our practice was one of the best sessions that we've had. I salute these guys because there has not been a drill. There's not been a day. There's not been a day off. There's not been a weight training session where they walk around and drop their heads and say, oh, yeah, but coach isn't here. And what are we going to do? And, this guy's not here. And look what they said about us. Whatever people say about you is really based on last year. And this is a different team. This is not the same team. I get why people have to do it. And it creates conversation and it creates excitement or sometimes delusion among the fans because, oh, look what they said about our team. Yeah, but nobody played a game yet. You're like, relax, catch a breath. So the players are excited, and this could get me drummed out of the coaching profession. But I think anything where teams come back and say, we're going to show you because last year, no, we own last year. That was our record. So Dougie or Terrace Reed or Terrence Williams, yeah, when I was a freshman, this is what happened. When I was a junior, this is what happened in each guy's case. So, like the revenge tour, I've never been a proponent of that. And I don't really sense that among the players. I think, they know that how people have what people think of them and go play. Forget all that chip on your shoulder and all that other. To me, I think it's wasted energy. Make it good energy. We're excited about this. And just for a second, hey, Tom, I'm a computer illiterate. Somebody asking to allow recording. I don't know what any of that is.
So then I guess to build on that, Phil, 11th to be picked 11th out of 14 in the Big Ten. I guess what does that like? What do you think about that? What does that mean?
What were we picked last year?
I don't recall. Does anyone?
Right. There's my point. There's okay. My point. Were they right last year? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like picking teams. Because there was a frenzy going on when the announcement was made. I really mean this. I would like to reach out to somebody and say, can you help me pick Powerball? Because I'm convinced I'm going to win it when it gets up there like that really big number. I'm convinced I'm going to win it. So I'm thinking I might ask somebody to pick that number for me. So if they said 11 and we finished 10, did we exceed expectations? Not our expectations. So, and I don't know how much players, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know if the players sitting there and you know, it's going to be the charge of the light brigade, you know, when they come charging out here. And I don't know if they sit around and talk about that.
Hey, Phil, I have a couple of questions about the team captains. I guess just how are they named this season? Was it picked by Juwan or was it a team vote?
No, this was a first for Juwan. He had each player vote.
Okay, sounds good. Now I have a question about both Jace and Olivier. Just first with Jace, I guess, how has he evolved as a leader over his time here at Michigan? I guess just how would you describe his leadership style?
I would say his confidence. He's very, very, very vocal, and he is like the furthest thing from being a me person. He never thinks about himself, and that can be hard. Like with his name. And really, with what he went through last year, his brother's a lottery pick, and you know he's scratching and clawing every day in practice. So I would say his confidence is how he has grown the most.
Okay, and with Olivier, I know most team captains in this program, they've been with the program for 3 to 4 years. I guess what is it about Olivier that makes him kind of the exception to that norm?
He's a grown up. I'm not knocking the other guys, but when you're in Olivier's presence, you know you're with a grown up, and he's going to shoot it right between your eyes with what he thinks, what he sees, but he's also willing to take it. You know, so if you want to make a correction for him, if you want to coach him, he's looking for that. Just think he's just. Obviously, I've known him since he was in the 11th grade. He just has a way about him of your eyes go to him because he does have that like kind of grown up approach to all of this.
Hey, Phil, speaking of Olivier, has he shared any insight about how to stop Drew Pember or any extra scouting report from him?
That's funny because we were at a recruiting dinner on Saturday night. It's not my scout. And he looked across the table at me. He says, "You better take care of me. I'm guarding him." And I went, "Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't want you mad at me." So, but he will be among other guys who will guard him. And I think that Olivier takes a lot of pride, even Northwood, and I'm not disrespecting him, but we ran a little bit of a switching man-to-man, and he sat down and guarded a guard. I think he enjoys that part of the game, and he's not just here to say, "Well, let me score, and then people will notice." I think Olivier is well aware that we must win in order for him to be noticed.